Good morning. Good morning. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Coachman on Real Estate. Hey, we left off yesterday and we were talking about SPQ questionnaire, and that is all about sellers. So I wanted to finish up with that topic today and then get on to our real estate listing form. This is all about making sure that you understand exactly what you're doing as we are preparing to put your home on the market. And some of the questions that we might want to ask, and some of the questions you might want to ask yourself, most importantly. But you know, to start our show off, each time I open up, if there is a birthday out there, I'd give birthday shout outs. So this is to one of my fellow realtors, Lisa Paz Furtado. I just want to wish Lisa a very happy birthday. Wish you all the best. Haven't gotten to see Lisa in probably about a year now because of the pandemic. So Lisa, wishing you all the best. Happy birthday to you. And if it's your birthday out there, happy birthday to you. Enjoy your day. So, like I was saying, I wanted to finish up with the seller's property questionnaire. And that was part of two forms that are very important when you're getting ready to sell your home. These are forms that sellers will be filling out, but buyers have to read through them and understanding what's there. So we had basically covered the first sheet. And we talked about it. One of the things that, and I want to cover these fairly quickly so that we have some time to go on to the other forms. We had started off and mentioned that, and this may be the way we finished up, within the last 3 years has there been a death on the property. And I mentioned that we have a lot of different people that live in the Bay Area. We are a melting pot, especially in the Bay Area. So with all our different ethnicities, there are folks that have different beliefs. And some people do not want to move into a property where there has been a death on the property in 3 years. Or if there has ever been a death on the property, it is not a good omen for them. So we want to make sure that you are aware of that and we answer that question. And there's a reason why we need to answer it. And we need to be honest. That's what you would expect. Any person selling your home, you want them to be honest with you about what's happened on the property. So we disclose that and we make sure that everyone knows. Now, the cause of death is a different story. We can let them know that they died of natural causes if we want, but disclosing a disease now, this is one of the things that we're going to have to take a look at for the future. Was it because of COVID? Do we need to sell the home? And when that person died, did they have COVID? Maybe that'll be a change that will come up on these forms. And we want to make sure that we understand that. And we can ask the question, but the main question on the form is, and this is our SPQ form, Seller's Property Questionnaire. Within the last 3 years, has there been a death of an occupant on the property, upon the property? We have to let them know. We need to let them know material facts that are affecting the value of the property. We need to let people know the repairs and alterations that we've made to the property. We have to let folks know that. Structural systems and appliances. Are we aware of that? Disasters, insurance claims, a civil settlement, anything affecting your property. Water-related and mold issues. Have you had a leaky roof that's caused mold? Have you had leaky pipes? Have you had a plumbing breakdown in your house? We have to let people know that. Do you have pets or other animals on the property? Some people don't want to come into a home if it's got pets in it or if it's had pets in it for allergies and sensitivities. So we got to let people know that. Do we know what the boundaries are? And do we know if there's any uses affecting the property? We want to make sure that we know that. Are there any ingresses or egresses that affect the property? Are there any roads that affect your property? Landscaping, pools and spas. We need to let everyone know exactly what's going on with the property. Did you have a pool at one point? Did you bury your pool? Which a lot of people here in California have. They have not removed the pool. They just bring in dirt and fill it. So we need to let people know. Is this a condominium or a common interest development? Anything where you just have ownership of your building and not the land surrounding it. Is there an HOA? We've got to make sure people understand that. And we want to know that because there are restrictions that you're going to have to abide by. And most likely, you are going to have to pay for some of those fees that are there. So title ownership, liens, and legal claims. Is there anything affecting the property that you're aware of? Here we're getting ready to put on solar heating or solar panels. Solar power. Now we are going to be paying it off over a certain amount of time, but when we move, we've already made the decision that we're going to absorb the cost of that in the sale of the house because we believe that it's making improvements to our house that are going to be needed in California and throughout the country. Now, neighborhoods. Is there any neighborhood noise that people need to be aware of? Are there high traffic areas? Is there an airport? Is there anything that will affect people's access to the freeways? We have to let people know that. Governmental. Is there anything that's going to be affecting the property? Are you going to have new taxes coming on? Are there proposed schools for the area? Are the schools in the area going to be closed down as we begin to lose children? We know that in California, there are a lot of schools that are being closed down and children are being rerouted. So we have to be able to put that information out there. If we know it, we have to let folks know. Anything that is going to affect the value of your property, you need to make sure that people are aware of it. If you have done reports on your home, any inspections, you have to let the buyers see those inspections so they can know what defects have been found, if any. And as you get ready to sign this, here's your disclaimer. Seller represents that seller has provided the answers and if any explanations and comments on this forum and any attached addenda, and that such information is true and correct to the best of the seller's knowledge as of this date signed by the seller. Seller acknowledges seller's obligation to disclose information requested by this forum is independent from any duty that a real estate licensee may have in this transaction, and nothing that any such real estate licensee does or says to seller relieves seller from his or her own duty to disclose. So all we're saying is make sure, as I mentioned yesterday, disclose, disclose, disclose. Save yourself from any problems that you may have in the future. Make sure that you disclose everything that you are aware of. Just put my information down there. So now, as we're talking about selling our homes, we have had a lot of movement from the area. One of the articles that I read the other day, not in this session, but in another session, in another live stream, I talked about that California is no longer increasing its population. It is flat, or we are losing people now. So if you are looking to sell your home and you are thinking about it, what are some of the questions that you're asking yourself? Why exactly do you want to move? Why exactly do you want to sell? Will selling your home help to alleviate the situation that you are in right now? Important questions. When do you need to sell by? Why is that date important? What will that date do for you? Knowing the reasons that you need to sell and being prepared to do that is important. It's important because selling is and can be very emotional. For us, we've lived in our home for 30 years. At some point, we may decide to sell and leave. And if we do we know why? Do we know where we want to go? Do we want to rent in the future, or do we want to buy? Do we know the area that we want to go to, or is that still a decision that's out there? Will we be renting for a certain amount of time while we're out looking for another home? Are we prepared to make those decisions? And do we understand why we're doing things? I've had people that have wanted to sell, and then once we started talking about some of these questions, have said, we're not ready to sell. We haven't thought about it enough. And that's understandable. So it's always good to be prepared. Understand why you're doing certain things. And be prepared emotionally, because this sometimes is a very difficult decision. It's an emotional decision, but it's also a financial decision, because this may be the biggest part of your finances. This may be where your wealth is held, in your home, in the equity that you've made in your home, especially in California. I have helped plenty of people over the last decade that in that decade, they doubled the value of their properties because the values have risen in San Jose and much of the Bay Area, most of the Bay Area. Matter of fact, I can't think of one area that the prices have not risen. Some have not risen as quickly as others, some areas, but most have risen fairly quickly. I helped a young couple sell their first home, and they went in and bought another home. Their home value had more than doubled. More than doubled in a 10-year period. I sat down with the husband and we talked, and I said, "Are you a little surprised?" And he goes, "I can't believe it. This was amazing." And it helped them to buy another home, put them in a little bit better position, put their children going to the schools that they wanted to go to, made it closer for their work. It happens. But you have to know why you want to do things, and are you prepared? Hey, sometimes it can be an easy decision. I want to get out. This is what I'm going to do. Let's go. That's the final decision. But for some, it is very, very emotional. And sometimes the financial risk is a little bit too difficult to swallow. So we have to ask those questions. We want to make sure that we're getting the right answers. We want to make sure that everyone that we work with is ready and prepared to make those decisions. So one of the things that I wanted to go over was the CAR RLA, and that's the residential listing agreement. And what comes in that package now? We have an agency disclosure, which we've always had. Now, one of the things that's been added to this over the last year, and it's something that's always been known, but now it's in black and white. It's the Fair Housing and Discrimination Advisory. Now, we've had a Fair Housing Act out there for decades. And we've known that you can't discriminate when you're going to sell a property, but now it's in black and white. We have areas that we need to cover. We have to know that we cannot discriminate with anyone for any reason. And they've given us many examples of what we have to do and realize this. And let me just read. There's 16, maybe a little bit more things that we have to be aware of and realize that we can't discriminate on. Race, color, ancestry, national origin, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, gender expression, marital status, familial status, do they have children, source of income, disability, medical conditions, citizenship, primary language, immigration status, military or veteran status, their age, criminal history, and anything else. We have to avoid that. We want to make sure that we are always taking care of the people that come in to take a look at our homes. We want to make sure that we are doing our best to do everything that we can to not be discriminating. Now, when my wife and I first bought our first property, it was in a place where, and the wording was there in the deeds that no colored people of color, could purchase these properties. Now that's been gone for a long time and it's been changed. But as you go through and you look at the historical documents affecting your properties, you're going to find those documents. We are a changed country, and we have to know that we cannot discriminate in any manner. Now, most of the people that I know would never even think about that, would never consider discriminating against anyone in any way or manner. And we have to know it is against the law, and now it is in writing that you have to follow this up. And that goes with every part of the home purchase and the selling of the home. That goes for lending. It goes in the way that we do our business, having positive practices that we put in place. We want to make sure that people are aware of the fair housing resources, so they can check if they feel like their rights have been violated. You know what? Go to these areas and check. And there are very few limits to the fair housing requirements. You have to know that. Now, one of the big things that's going on with our modern sales business is that a lot of times the only way that we send money throughout a transaction is through wiring electronic funds. Everything has changed in the way that we handle money. If you go down to purchase a home and you are going to the title company to sell off and it's time to bring your money in, you don't bring cash. You can bring a cashier's check, but you don't bring cash. But one of the biggest things that we do is we are wiring money back and forth. Now, I'm saying this for protection of every person out there that's making a home purchase or selling a home. When a person makes their deposit and they are going to make a wire transfer, you've got to be 100% sure of who that wire is going to. And that will be discussed more than once. You take your wiring instructions from the title company only. Should you get an email from somebody and it says there has been a change, we need you to wire it here, you call your title company and verify that. You call your title representative and verify that, and make them send over an email, a secured email, if there's changes to be made, and you do it that way. Because over the last several years, we have had many people lose all of their money because they had people out there fishing and they got hooked. And they changed their wiring instructions and sent it to a faraway place. And their monies were gone. Some monies they're able to trace and get back, but most of it is gone. And that's your hard-earned money. And you have no way of recapturing it. So this law with wire fraud and the advice on wire fraud is very important. I want to read a couple of bolded areas here. Do not ever wire or electronically transfer funds prior to calling to confirm the transfer instructions. Only use a phone number you were provided with previously. Do not use any different phone number or account number included in any emailed transfer instructions. Orally confirm the transfer instruction is legitimate and confirm the bank routing number, account numbers, and other codes before taking steps to transfer funds. Avoid sending personal information in emails or text. Provide such information in person over the telephone directly to the escrow officer, property manager, or landlord. Take steps to secure the system you are using with your email account. These steps include creating strong passwords, using secure Wi-Fi, and not using free services. So you want to do everything that you can do to protect yourself. Everything that you can do to protect yourself, because you don't want your life savings to disappear in one shot. You want to make sure that you're doing what's right. Now, at a different time, we will go over the residential listing agreement and what it includes, and making sure that you've got that done correctly. There's a California Consumer Privacy Act that needs to be filled out. And then you will step through and read the seller's advisory and get through with the residential listing agreement. A couple of things that you're going to want to take care of and address: water heater and smoke detector statement of compliance. We are all supposed to have our water heater strapped properly. That a plumber can do. If you're unable to do it, a plumber can do that and get that done correctly for you. But you also have to have smoke detectors. And if you've got a 2-story house, you have to have at least one smoke detector on each floor. And then also, you need a carbon monoxide detector. Now, carbon monoxide detectors come in plug-in setups where you can just plug them into an outlet. Carbon monoxide travels low to the ground. So a plug-in is perfect for it. If you are doing any work in your home that you're going to need codes, or you're going to need to be approved by your city, most cities are now requiring, cities and counties are now requiring that you have smoke detectors in each of your bedrooms, hallways, and probably an entryway. But in each of your bedrooms, they are going to be required. So it's important to know that and get that done. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful day. Have an awesome day. And thank you for being here. We really appreciate the opportunity to share with you. And if you wouldn't mind, share this message out. Share it with people that may be looking to sell their home and are looking for a realtor. We would love to be able to help folks out. And if you have any questions, go ahead and send us an email. It's below my email. It's Coachman, O-N-R-E, so Coachman on Real Estate, @gmail.com. You can text me at 408-439-0766, or you can give me a call. And then you can look for our website. You can look up charlescoachman.com or charles-coachman.kw.com. And we have a website that our company provides us there, if you would like to do that. This program is also going out to YouTube. So if you wouldn't mind, go to YouTube. Just look up Charles Coachman and you'll be able to find the information there. Have a great day. If you'd like to join us tomorrow, we are here at 9 a.m. We are going to be here at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, sharing information on real estate. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.